You are already somewhere comfortable. You do not need to do anything right now. You do not need to adjust. You do not need to prepare. You are simply here, and that is enough. Let your body settle just a little more. Feel the surface beneath you, the firmness of it, or the softness, or the particular way it holds you. You do not need to think about what it is. Just let it hold you. It is doing that already. Let your arms lie still at your sides, or wherever they have found themselves. Your hands loose, your fingers uncurled. Feel the weight of your legs. Just the simple heaviness of them resting, not needing to carry you anywhere right now. And breathe. Breathe in slowly all the way down. Feel your chest rise. Feel your belly rise. And then let it all go. Slowly, without effort, without pushing, just releasing. One more breath. In, slow and steady, and out, long and soft. That is all you need to do tonight. That is all that is asked of you. Just breathe and follow along, and let the story carry you gently into rest. You are on a bus, an old bus, a comfortable bus, the kind that has made this same journey through the Tuscan hills many hundreds of times, so many times that the road itself seems to know the weight of it, seems to welcome it, seems to hold its wheels in that easy, familiar way of things that belong together. The bus is not new. Nothing here is new. The seats are covered in a fabric that was once a deeper green and has faded now to something softer, something the color of lichen on a stone wall, worn smooth at the armrests and along the headrests where many people have leaned their heads over many years. Your seat is comfortable in that way of old things that have adjusted to human shapes. You are sitting with your shoulder near the window. The window is cracked open just a few inches, just enough for the air to come in, and the air is warm, and it is slow, and it carries with it the scent of the Tuscan evening, something dry and herbaceous, something sweet and green, the kind of air that seems to be made of everything the land has gathered all day, all the warmth and the fragrance and the particular soft dust of the hillsides, and is now, as the evening comes, releasing it all back into the world. You breathe it in, it fills you, and you breathe it out again, and the bus moves slowly along the road. The road winds through the hills. It has been winding like this for as long as anyone who lives here can remember, which is a very long time indeed. It does not take the straightest route. It follows the land. It curves to avoid a hilltop here, follows the line of a ridge there, dips into a valley, and rises again along the far slope, as if it grew here naturally rather than being made. On both sides of the road, olive trees. You have been looking at them for some time now, watching them pass, and they do not grow less beautiful with looking. Each tree is its own particular shape, and yet they are all unmistakably of the same family, the same long ancestry. Their trunks are gray and twisted, each one differently twisted, each one telling the story of the decades and centuries it has stood in this particular spot, leaning into the wind from this particular direction, reaching toward the light from this particular angle. The bark is rough from a distance and deeply textured up close, furrowed and ridged and gnarled, silver gray where the light catches it, deeper gray in the shadows. The leaves are small, narrow, pointed at each end, and two-toned in a way that makes them seem to breathe. On top, they are a dull, muted green. Underneath, they are silver. And when the slightest breeze moves through the grove, the whole tree seems to change color, flickering from green to silver and back again, shimmering like something lit from within. Right now, the light on those leaves is golden. The sun is low in the western sky, still an hour or more from setting, but already it has taken on that particular quality of early evening light that turns everything it touches into something warmer and softer than it is at any other hour. The olive leaves are catching it, holding it for a moment, then releasing it as the breeze comes through, green and silver and gold, over and over. As the bus moves slowly past, the hum of the engine is low and constant. You can feel it more than hear it. It moves through the floor of the bus and into the seat and into you, a gentle vibration like something purring. It is not an unpleasant feeling. It is steady and warm, and it has a rhythm to it that is almost like breathing. In through the seat, through your back, through your chest, out again, in again. You have been feeling it for a while now, this vibration, and you have become so used to it that it is part of the evening, part of the road, part of the long, slow unwinding of this day. The tires on the road make a different sound from the engine. The road surface is old and smooth in places, rougher in others where it has been patched and repaired over the years. And the tires move through all of these textures steadily and without complaint. A quiet, rushing sound, low and constant. You could close your eyes and just listen to these sounds: the engine, the road beneath the tires, the faint sound of air coming through the cracked window, the occasional distant sound of something, a bird perhaps, or just the wind moving through the trees on the hillside, entering briefly through the window and then gone. You could close your eyes, but for now, you are still watching. There are not many other passengers. In the seats ahead of you, a woman in a blue cardigan. She has been on the bus since before you, and at some point in the last half hour, she fell asleep. You can see the side of her face when the bus takes a curve. Her cheek rests against the window. Her mouth is very slightly open. Her breathing is slow and even, steady as the road. She has a bag on the seat beside her. Canvas with a wooden handle. Something is packed in it carefully. You cannot see what. She looks peaceful. She looks like someone who has had a full day and has let it go. A few rows further forward, an older man with a canvas bag on his lap. He is quite still. He looks out the front windscreen at the road ahead, but in the way of someone whose eyes are open without particularly seeing. He is somewhere else, somewhere quiet and internal. Every now and then he shifts very slightly in his seat, resettles, and goes still again. Near the back of the bus, a young boy. He cannot be more than 8 or 9 years old. He has a small paper bag that crinkles when he reaches into it, and he does so very slowly and deliberately, eating whatever is in it, one small piece at a time. He looks out the window with large, heavy eyes. His blinks are slow. He is watching the hills pass with the patient, dreamy attention of a child who has not quite given in to sleep yet, but is being pulled toward it regardless. The driver sits at the front of the bus. He does not hurry. He has one hand on the wheel at any given time, resting lightly, and his elbow rests on the edge of the open window. He wears a gray short-sleeved shirt, and there is a small mirror hanging from the rearview mirror by a short cord, and from the mirror hangs a tiny golden charm. You cannot make out exactly what it is from where you sit. Something small and round, catching the light when the bus turns. The charm swings when the bus takes a curve, left, and then settling back, right, and then settling back. It has been doing this for the entire journey, and you have noticed it only now. And it is a very calming thing to watch, somehow. That small gold shape, moving and settling, moving and settling. The driver does not talk. There is no radio on the bus. There is only the road and the engine and the air and the quiet. You shift slightly in your seat, not because you are uncomfortable, just the small adjustment of someone settling deeper in. Your back against the seat back, the worn fabric of it, just slightly yielding. Your legs at ease in front of you, your hands in your lap or by your sides, open, not gripping anything. You press your temple against the glass of the window for a moment. The glass is cool, not cold, just pleasantly cool against the warmth of your skin, the warmth of the evening. You leave it there for a little while, this cool glass, and look out through it at the road. The world tilts just slightly from this angle. The hills, the olive trees, the golden light, all of it seen from this small angle of rest. The bus curves gently to the right. You lean with it, just barely. Your body knows how to follow a curve by now. It does not resist. It moves like water moves, following the path without effort, without thinking. The road straightens. You straighten, and there is a stone wall on the left side of the road now. Lo, the stones are pale, cream, and amber, and they have been placed without mortar, fitted together by hand a very long time ago, each stone chosen for its shape, for the way it settles against the stones around it. Moss grows in the gaps, dark green, almost black, soft. The wall goes on for a while, following the road, the top stones uneven, some leaning slightly, some gone entirely and replaced by the empty air above, and the whole thing worn and settled and comfortable in its imperfection, the way old things are. There is a lizard on one of the top stones. You see it for only a moment as the bus passes. It is very small. It is completely still. It is absorbing the last warmth of the sun, that warm stone beneath it, the warm air around it, and it has no intention of moving. Its eyes are open, but it is not alarmed by the bus passing. It is simply still, simply warm, simply at rest in the way that only creatures who live entirely in the present moment can be at rest. And then the bus has passed it, and it is behind you, and you are already looking ahead. The road climbs a little. The olive trees thin out on the right side, and for a moment there is an open hillside, dry grasses pale gold in the evening light, dotted here and there with dark, irregular shapes of stone pushing through the surface. The grasses move. A breath of wind comes through, and the whole hillside ripples gently. A soft wave of gold moving up the slope and dissolving at the crest. And then the top of the hill comes, and the bus crests it, and you see the valley. You have not seen it for a while. You were in among the trees and the walls and the curves of the road, and now suddenly here it is. All of it. The whole wide bowl of the valley spread out below in the evening light. Hills rise on all sides, their slopes covered in green and gold, and the occasional darker green of a wood or a stand of cypress. Fields of turned earth, deep amber, patches of vineyard, the rows of vines visible from here as fine dark lines across the hillside. And far away, half hidden by the curve of the hills, the rooftops of a small town, terracotta and pale stone, the slant of the roofs, the narrow tower of a church rising above the rest. The sky above all of this is very large. It is still a deep blue at the highest point, the kind of deep, clear blue that belongs to late afternoon. But lower down, toward the horizon, toward the hills in the west, it has changed. There is gold there, and below the gold, a stripe of deep amber. between the amber and the gold, a line of pale rose that is almost too delicate to look at directly. As if looking would cause it to fade, the valley holds its breath. And then the bus begins its descent, and the view narrows, and the olive trees come back, and the road curves left, and the valley is gone behind the green and the gold of the hillside. You breathe out slowly. You did not realize you had been holding your breath, or nearly holding it. Just the tightening of awe, even the quiet kind of awe, the gentle kind, the kind that does not spike or excite, but simply fills you with a kind of soft wonder. The valley is beautiful. This evening is beautiful, and you are here in it, on this slow bus, going toward that small town in the fading light, and there is nowhere else you need to be. You let your shoulders settle. You let your breath even out again. In and out, the olive trees pass. The air coming through the window has changed since the bus started down the hill. It is cooler now, not cold, still warm with the memory of the afternoon, but cooler, and it carries different smells. The dry, herbaceous warmth of the upper hillside has given way to something greener, earthier. Damp leaves, dark soil, the smell of water somewhere nearby, a stream perhaps, following the valley floor, and something sweet, something faintly sweet and high, above all the green earthiness. Wild thyme, perhaps, or rosemary, or one of those small flowering plants that grow in the cracks of old stone walls here, whose names you do not know and do not need to know. They fill the air with this sweetness in the evening, when the warmth has released their oils into the cooling air. You breathe it in. It is the smell of this valley, the smell of this evening. It is the kind of smell that you carry home with you, not in a bottle, not in any deliberate way, but somewhere in your memory, somewhere that surfaces on an ordinary day in an ordinary place, and fills you suddenly with the feeling of having been somewhere beautiful, of having been somewhere at rest. There is a farmhouse ahead on the right. You see it gradually as the road descends and curves and the trees open. First, just the shape of a roofline against the hill, then the pale walls, then the windows. It is a long, low building. Very thick walls, you can tell from the windows, which sit deep in their openings like eyes set far back in a face. The walls are pale, not quite white, not quite cream, that particular color of aged plaster that looks as if it has absorbed centuries of sunlight and holds them now like a slow, warm glow. The shutters are mostly open. The windows are open behind them. From this window you are passing, you can see the corner of a room, a table, the edge of a lamp, orange light, a wall with something hanging on it, a bunch of dried herbs or a wreath, you cannot tell. Someone is inside in the warm orange light, just living their evening, just existing in this warm, quiet place. There is a wooden table and 2 chairs outside the front door. Just there on the flat paving in front of the house, positioned to catch the last of the evening light. Empty now. Perhaps someone sat there this afternoon. Perhaps they will sit there again tomorrow. A cat lies curled on the doorstep. It is sleeping. Its tail is tucked around its body, and its chin is resting on the stone. It does not stir as the bus passes. It is simply there, warm, still, completely at ease. You watch the farmhouse pass, the cat on the step, the herb bundles above the door, the orange light in the window, the 2 empty chairs in the last of the sun, and then it is behind you. You carry the image of it with you for a moment, that warmth and that stillness, and then let it go gently as the next curve of the road comes and the olive trees close in again. The road ahead is empty. No cars coming. No other vehicles. Just the road, pale gray, winding between the trees, descending toward the valley floor. The light falls across it in long diagonal stripes where the trees break and allow it through. Stripes of warm gold, stripes of cool shadow. The bus moves through them. Light, shadow, light, shadow. A gentle rhythm. Each time the bus passes from shadow into light, you feel a brief warmth on your arm, on your cheek. Each time it passes from light into shadow, a brief cool. In and out, warm and cool, over and over. There is something almost sleepy about it, like a hand moving gently over your forehead. Light, cool, light, cool. The vineyard appears on the left. It covers the gentle slope of a hillside. The vines trained in neat rows on wire strung between wooden posts. The posts are old wood, gray and weathered, leaning slightly in places. The wire between them sagging just a little under the weight of the vines. The grapes are heavy. Clusters of them, dense and dark green, some of them beginning to turn, beginning to show that first blush of color that comes before the harvest. A faint purple, a faint amber, just a promise of what is coming. The leaves of the vine are large and broad and rough textured, and in this evening light they are very green, a deep, warm green, throwing the clusters of fruit into shadow. It is quiet in the vineyard. No one is working. The work of today is done. The rows are empty. Just the vines and the grapes and the wooden posts and the long evening light. 2 swallows cut through the air above the vineyard. Very fast, very precise, tilting their narrow wings with an ease and certainty that suggests they know exactly what they are doing and always have. They drop low over the rows and then lift and again, and then they are out of sight. You watch the vineyard for a long time as the bus descends alongside it. There is something deeply satisfying about it. The order of it, the rows, the repetition, the way each plant is given the same careful space. And within that order, the wild living abundance of the fruit, the heavy clusters, the broad leaves, the whole teeming, patient vitality of it. Row after row, until the slope curves away and there is just the road again. You feel your eyelids droop just slightly, not enough to close, just enough to soften the edges of what you are seeing, to let the colors blur just a little at the edges. The gold, the green, the pale stone. It is a pleasant feeling, the heaviness of eyes that do not need to see anything in particular. You let them rest in this soft, half-open state for a moment. The bus hums on. The woman in the blue cardigan stirs slightly in her sleep, not waking, just shifting, her body finding a slightly different position of ease, her shoulder pressing more comfortably into the corner of the seat and the window, her chin dropping a little. She makes no sound. Her breathing remains slow and even. She is very deeply asleep. There is something lovely about a person deeply asleep on a bus. The complete surrender of it. The trust. Trusting the seat to hold them. Trusting the driver to drive. Trusting the road to continue beneath them. Trusting the world to take care of itself while they are gone from it for a little while. You feel that same trust now. Everything is taken care of. The bus is driving itself, or as good as. The road knows the way. The driver has done this 1,000 times. You do not need to do anything. You can simply be here and breathe and let the journey complete itself. The old man near the front adjusts his canvas bag on his lap. He glances out the window and then back to the road ahead. He does not seem impatient. He seems simply present, simply here, simply waiting without any urgency for the bus to arrive where it is going. He has the quality of someone who has learned over a long life that most things resolve themselves in their own time, and that waiting is not a waste of time, but simply another kind of being. You watch him for a moment. The way he holds his bag, the way his hands rest on it, the way his eyes return to the windscreen without any particular expectation, without hope or anxiety, just looking. That is a skill worth having. To look at the road ahead without expectation, just looking. The boy in the back has set his paper bag down. His hands are in his lap. His eyes are on the window, but they are not really seeing. They have that glazed, soft look of eyes that are losing their purchase on the waking world. His mouth is just barely open. His blinking is very slow. 3 seconds between blinks. 4, 5, he is going. he is almost gone, and there is nothing to be done about it, and nothing that needs to be done about it. Sleep is coming for him as it always comes, without asking, without announcing itself, simply arriving and taking him. That is how it works for children. And for you, right now, it is not so different. You do not need to decide to sleep. Sleep is arriving. You only need to stop resisting. And you have already stopped, somewhere back along this road, somewhere between the lizard on the stone wall and the long shadows across the hillside. You stopped resisting. And now sleep is simply coming. The light inside the bus has changed. It is the same light from the same direction, the same low evening sun coming through the right side windows. But it has deepened. It is amber now where it was gold. It falls across the ceiling and the seats in long, warm strips, and the strips are the color of old honey, of lit embers, of the inside of a lantern. You look at the strip of it across your own hands, your hands lit in that warm amber, very still, very warm, part of the light of this bus on this road on this evening. There is a small spider's web in the upper corner of the window. You notice it only because of the way the angled light catches it. Just a few threads anchored loosely in the corner of the frame, glowing with that particular silvery brightness of spider silk in the right light. No spider visible, just the threads, just the structure, swaying very slightly with the vibration of the bus. You look at it for a moment. Such a small and particular thing, the way the light finds it, the way it sways, the way even the smallest things, given the right light, become briefly extraordinary. You are very comfortable now. You are so comfortable that you have stopped noticing the comfort, which is the best kind of comfort. The comfort that becomes invisible because there is nothing uncomfortable anywhere. The seat, the air, the light, the sounds, all of it simply right. The vibration of the engine moves through you very gently. It is so familiar by now that it is almost internal, as if the bus's heartbeat has become your heartbeat, as if the road's rhythm is your rhythm. In, the engine breathes out. The road passes beneath you. In, out, you and the bus and the road, all breathing together in the warm Tuscan evening. There is nothing on your mind, nothing specific. If there are thoughts, they are very distant, very diffuse, like whether you can see on the horizon far enough away that it does not concern you, whether on the horizon, very far, not here. Here is the bus and the road and the evening and the amber light and the woman asleep and the boy almost asleep and the old man quiet and the driver driving and the golden charms swaying and the olive trees passing and the Tuscan hills going on and on in the warm late light. Here is all of that, and your breath, slow and easy, moving through all of it, in and out, carrying you gently forward. The road flattens here on the valley floor. The hills rise on either side, but you are between them now, in the low, level ground, and the road runs more or less straight for a stretch before it begins to wind again toward the town. There are poplar trees along a watercourse on the right. Tall and narrow, their leaves very fine, trembling constantly even in the faintest air, always moving, always shimmering. Their trunks are pale, almost white, very straight, rising to a height that seems excessive, almost comical, their skinny crowns tilting slightly in the breeze. The light in the poplars is something different from the light in the olive groves. The olive leaves are slow to move and hold the light when they catch it. The poplar leaves never stop, and so the light in them is a constant quick shimmer, like light on water, like something alive and breathing. You watch the poplars as the bus passes them, the shimmer of them, the perpetual gentle trembling, and then they are behind you. Ahead, the road makes a long, gradual curve to the right. The bus follows it without hesitation, the driver's hand on the wheel turning just slightly, his elbow still on the window, his posture still completely easy. As the bus curves, the golden light comes through your window more directly for a moment. You raise your hand slightly, instinctively, against the brightness. And then the bus straightens, and the angle changes, and the light falls across you more obliquely, warm and amber, without the brightness. The golden charm on the rearview mirror catches a ray of it. For a moment it flares, very bright. And then the angle changes, and it dims back to its ordinary shine. The charm sways, left, right, settles. On the left side of the road, there is a small roadside shrine, a niche cut into a stone wall, just large enough for a small statue, and the statue painted in those simple, bright colors, blue and gold and white, that you see in shrines like this throughout the countryside here. The paint is old and the colors have faded somewhat, but the blue is still blue, still unmistakably the blue of a robe, the gold of a halo, the white of hands in prayer. At the base of the niche, someone has placed fresh flowers, white and yellow simple wildflowers, tied loosely with a piece of string. They were placed there not long ago. Today, perhaps. Someone came along this road today and stopped and placed these flowers here, a small, unhurried act of care, and then went on. The shrine passes. The road goes on. You think about the person who placed those flowers. Not for long. Just a quiet thought, just a glimmer of a thought before it dissolves. Someone who knows this road, someone who has passed this shrine many times, someone for whom this small act of stopping and placing flowers is as natural as breathing. The thought is a gentle one, and then it is gone, and there is just the road and the evening and the sound of the engine. The bus passes through a brief shadow, a stand of tall oaks on the right side, their canopy spreading over the road just enough to dim the light for a few seconds. The temperature drops a degree or two. The sound of the engine changes slightly, reflected back by the trees. And then you are through, and in the warm light again. The oaks are old. Their bark is very dark, deeply furrowed, and their branches spread outward in great horizontal sweeps before curving upward at the ends. Their leaves are still fully green, not yet thinking about autumn. Dark, glossy, dense, in the shadow beneath those oaks, where the light barely reaches, the ground is covered in a thick layer of old leaves, years of them, built up into a soft, dark carpet. Ferns grow there, very low, very green. You glimpse it all in a second as the bus passes. The dark quiet beneath those trees, the ferns, the deep shade, and then you are out, and the warm air returns, and the olive trees resume, and the road goes on. There are beehives at the edge of a field. You almost miss them. A row of white wooden boxes on a low wooden platform, set back from the road behind a wire fence, half hidden in the long grass. There are perhaps a dozen of them, perhaps more. All the same simple shape, the same white paint, weathered by sun and rain. At this hour in the evening, the bees will have returned, the work of the day done, the hives full and warm and quietly alive. You cannot see or hear them from the bus, but you know they are there. That warm, low sound, that collective, patient hum. Something in you finds that image restful. The hives at the field's edge, the bees at rest, the work done. A little further along, a field of sunflowers. Or what were sunflowers? The season has passed. The heads are heavy and dark now, the petals gone, the great round faces full of seeds, all of them drooping forward, all of them pointing downward in the same posture of a patient bowing. The stalks are tall and brown and dry. You have missed the flowering by some weeks, perhaps, but there is something beautiful about this too. The sunflowers after the bloom, their patient, heavy drooping, their generosity in seeding, their willingness to be done. The field stretches back from the road, row after row of these dark, bowing heads. And then it is past. The road begins to descend again. The valley is below. You can see bits of it in the gaps between the trees. Flashes of it. The golden shimmer of a field, the the dark green of a distant wood, a road in the valley floor, pale and empty. The bus takes each curve steadily. The driver moves the wheel with barely any visible effort, just a small turn, and the bus follows. And then the wheel comes back to center, and the bus goes straight. And then another small turn, and the bus curves again. There is a rhythm to it. You have been feeling it for a long time now. The gentle left-right of the curves, the slight lean of your body with each one, the tiny sway of the golden charm. It is its own kind of lullaby. The road passes through a grove of chestnut trees. These are not the cultivated, trimmed olive trees of the hillside terraces. These are older and wilder. Their trunks are enormous, their bark deeply ridged in long spiraling lines, their branches spreading widely overhead, their canopy dense and dark. The light beneath the chestnuts is very dim, green and dim, filtered through layer after layer of large leaves, the kind of light that is almost like being underwater, soft and enclosed and cool. The smell changes here too, something richer, something darker and more earthy. The smell of deep leaf mold, of old wood, of the quiet dark life of the forest floor. You breathe it in. It is a different kind of beautiful. Not the golden open beauty of the hillside. Something more enclosed, more private, more ancient. The chestnut grove is not very long. The bus passes through it in perhaps 2 minutes, and then the trees open and the golden light returns, and you are on the hillside again, descending the valley below. A donkey stands in a field, just there, behind a low fence on the left side of the road. A gray donkey, small and solid, standing with its head lowered, not grazing, just standing. Its ears are still. Its eyes are half closed. It does not look up as the bus passes. It is somewhere else entirely, in that patient, dreaming way of donkeys, which seem to spend a great portion of their lives in a state that is not quite sleeping and not quite waking, but something comfortable in between. You watch it until it is out of sight. That stillness, those half-closed eyes, that complete, uncommented ease. You feel something like affection for it, and then the road curves, and the donkey is gone. There is a break in the trees on the right, a proper opening wide, and through it you can see across the valley for some distance. The hills on the far side are visible, their slopes a patchwork of color. Dark green where the trees grow, pale gold where the pastures are, the darker gold of harvested fields. Here and there a farmhouse, tiny at this distance, just a pale square on a slope, and the sky above all of it. The sky has deepened. It is later now than when you first boarded the bus, much later. the whole afternoon having turned and the evening come fully in. The blue is a deeper, richer blue than it was. Not dark yet, but heading there. And at the lowest point of the sky, at the horizon where the hills are, the light is extraordinary. It has moved past gold entirely now, and into something you can barely name. A color between amber and copper and rose. A color like the inside of a warm room seen from outside in the cold. A color that makes you want to stop and simply look for a long time. You do look, for as long as the opening in the trees allows it, and then the trees come back, and the view closes, and you are left with the impression of that light, that particular unrepeatable light of this particular evening, held somewhere in you. The bus passes a small stone bridge. It arches over a narrow stream, barely wider than a country lane. The stone of it the same warm, pale cream as all the walls and paths along this road. Below the bridge, the stream runs clear and shallow over smooth, round stones. The water catches the evening light as it moves, throwing small, quick flashes. There are willows along the bank of the stream, their long, thin branches hanging down to the water surface, trailing in it, swaying very gently where the current moves them. The sound of the stream does not reach you inside the bus, but you imagine it. The small, clear sound of moving water over stones, that particular brightness of it. The bus crosses the bridge in a second. The stream is behind you, but you carry the sound of it with you, imagined, gentle, running alongside everything else. A field on the right is being irrigated. Long lines of water arch from sprinklers in the low evening light, each arc catching the sun and making a brief, fragile rainbow before the water falls. The colors faint and perfect. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all of them held for just a moment in the falling water, and then gone as the spray moves on. You watch the rainbows appear and disappear, one arc, a rainbow, and then it moves, and the rainbow is gone, and there is just the water in the air again. And then the next arc, and another rainbow, equally brief. There is something very peaceful about things that last such a short time. The rainbow in the spray, the rings on the fountain, the light on the olive leaves, each one complete in itself, each one asking nothing, each one simply beautiful for its moment and then gone. The bus continues. The driver settles more deeply into his seat. His hand on the wheel is loose. He has been driving this road for a long time. You settle more deeply into your seat. You have been on this bus for a long time. Your body has adjusted to the rhythm of it completely. The vibration of the engine is part of you now. The slight sway on the curves is natural. The sound of the road beneath the tires is as comfortable as any sound you know. You are at ease, completely and simply at ease. There is nowhere to go but forward, and forward is where you are going at this easy pace. Through this beautiful evening, the bus continues. The driver settles more deeply into his seat. His hand on the wheel is loose. He has been driving this road for a long time. You settle more deeply into your seat. You have been on this bus for a long time. Your body has adjusted to the rhythm of it completely. The vibration of the engine is part of you now. The slight sway on the curves is natural. The sound of the road beneath the tires is as comfortable as any sound you know. You are at ease, completely and simply at ease. There is nowhere to go but forward, and forward is where you are going at this easy pace. Through this beautiful evening, let yourself notice just the sensations right now. Not the starry, not what is passing outside the window, just the sensations. The seat beneath you, worn and slightly giving. The way it holds the particular shape of you here in this position. The window glass near your shoulder, cool and faintly vibrating with the engine. The air on your left hand, which rests near the window, catching the warmth when the bus passes through the sun, and the coolness when it passes through shadow. The warmth of your own body, contained by the seat, by the warm evening air, by the stillness of just being seated. Your feet, heavy and still, on the floor of the bus. Your legs relaxed. Your back resting. Your arms loose. Your hands uncurled. Your face soft. Every part of you at this moment is doing nothing. This is rare. Usually some part of you is working, held, braced. The hands holding something, the legs carrying something, the face arranging itself for the world. But here, on this bus, in this evening, there is nothing to hold and nothing to carry, and no one who needs your face to arrange itself. You are just a body at rest on a seat, on a bus, moving slowly through Tuscany. And that is everything. That is more than enough. The light on the ceiling of the bus, you look up for a moment. The ceiling is pale, a little yellowed with age, and the light that falls across it shifts constantly as the bus moves. When you pass beneath trees, the light dims and the shadows of the leaves move across the ceiling in quick, soft patterns. When you are in the open, the ceiling catches the full amber of the evening and glows. Right now you are passing beneath some trees. The patterns move across the ceiling above you. Shadow and light, shadow and light, shifting and dissolving and shifting again. You could watch this for a long time. The light playing on the old pale ceiling of the bus, moving and changing and always gentle. You have not checked the time. You do not know what time it is, and you find that you do not want to know. The time is, it is evening. The time is, the light is golden. The time is, the bus is descending toward the valley, and the town slowly, without hurry. That is all the time you need. That is all the time there is, right now. Outside, the shapes of things are beginning to change. The long shadows of late afternoon have stretched further. The individual tree shadows are enormous now, reaching across the terraced hillsides and overlapping, so that in some places the hillside is almost entirely in shadow, except for the tops of the trees and the upper edges of the stone walls, catching the last of the direct sunlight. Everything is warm in color, but dimming in brightness, the gold deeper, the shadows longer and softer, the particular hour when the day is preparing to let go. You feel it as a kind of loosening, not just in the landscape, in yourself. Something releasing that has been held all day, even slightly, even without your noticing. Something letting go. There is a sound from outside that you have not noticed until now. Crickets. They have been there all along, of course, in the verges and the fields and the hillsides. But your ears adjust to sounds and stop hearing them when they are constant. And you have been riding through their sound for so long without attending to it that it became part of the silence. But now you hear them, that dry, rhythmic, unceasing sound, that ancient sound of a warm evening in a warm place. Tens of thousands of them, all singing together, all at the same frequency, filling the air so completely that the air itself seems to hum. It comes through the cracked window. It is not an unpleasant sound. It is not even a particularly interesting sound. It is just there, constant, even, part of the evening, the way the light and the warmth and the herbs and the stone are part of the evening. Just there, you let it be there. You do not think about it. You just hear it below everything as part of the texture of this hour, and then your attention drifts back to the window and the passing trees and the long golden light. The bus passes a narrow lane on the left, just a gap in the stone wall, just wide enough for a small vehicle. A handmade wooden sign nailed to the wall beside it, the letters carved and painted, faded now to near illegibility. A name, perhaps, or a direction. You cannot read it. The lane goes up into the olive grove and curves away, and you cannot see where it leads. But someone lives up there, or uses that track for something. The lane is worn, the grass in the center short from use, the edges green. Someone passes this way regularly, with a vehicle or on foot or both. Coming down in the morning, going up in the evening, that same lane day after day, season after season. There There is something very restful about the idea of that. The same path, the same trees, the same view from the top, if there is a view, the same smell of rosemary or thyme along the edges. The familiar road. You follow your own familiar roads every day without noticing them. But every now and then, you notice, and there is something good in that noticing. The bus slows very slightly. There is a village cat on the edge of the road, sitting on one of the flat stones at the roadside, with the particular composed dignity of a cat that has decided it is not going to move for a bus. The driver eases the wheel a fraction. The bus passes the cat at a respectful distance. The cat watches it go with unblinking eyes. And then the cat looks away, back to whatever it was watching before the bus arrived. Something in the verge or in the field beyond. Something invisible to you, but apparently worth watching. You smile, just slightly. Just the small, involuntary response to something small and perfect. And then the feeling settles back into the general warmth of the evening, and you breathe, and the bus goes on. The old woman on the chair outside her front door. You have not yet reached the town, but you can already imagine her there, already anticipate her. Some person like her, somewhere along this road, sitting in the last warmth of the day with her hands in her lap and her eyes quiet, the figure of that kind of stillness, the kind that comes with age or with long acquaintance with a place, the kind that needs no explanation and offers no apology. Just sitting, just being in the warm evening air, just letting the day pass. You feel something of that yourself, right now. The stillness of someone who is where they are and does not need to be anywhere else. A pair of white doves settle on the stone wall beside the road. They arrive without fuss, landing lightly, their white wings folding with that precise, clean gesture. They look at each other. They do not speak. They look out at the road. One preens its wing briefly, a single quick motion, and then is still. They are very white against the warm stone, very still, like small pieces of the morning sky landed in the evening. The bus passes, and they do not startle. They remain on the wall, very still and very white, as the bus moves away and the evening deepens around them. You feel your jaw unclench. You are not aware it was clenched. Just that very slight tension that lives there sometimes, the faintest holding. And now it releases, just naturally, just as part of the general releasing of this long, slow, beautiful journey. Your face is soft. Your eyes are soft. Everything in you is softer now than it was when you boarded this bus. Whatever the day held, whatever was carried into this seat, it has been gently set down somewhere along the road, left behind with the turns and the stone walls and the olive trees. It will still be there if you need it. But right now, you do not need it. Right now, there is only the bus and the road and the evening. Only this. Outside, the shadows have grown very long. The shadow of the bus stretches out on the road beside it, enormously long, a dark, traveling shape that tilts and lengthens with every small change in the angle of the light. You can see it from the window sometimes, that shadow stretched beyond recognition, but still unmistakably a bus, still moving with you. The shadows of the olive trees reach all the way across the terraces now. Each tree's shadow meeting the shadow of the next tree, the whole hillside becoming a pattern of alternating light and dark, the pale earth and the long dark lines. Very still, very beautiful. The way a hillside is beautiful when it does not know it is being looked at. You breathe in the evening air that comes through the cracked window. It has changed again. Everything shifts very gradually as you descend and as the evening deepens. There is more dampness in it now, more of the valley in it. The smell of the stream you crossed, perhaps, or the irrigated field, or simply the valley air that pools in the low ground and holds the day's moisture. There is still the sweetness, still the herbs, but underneath them, something cooler and more watery now. The air of a valley at evening. You breathe it in and hold it for a moment, just a moment, and then release. A heron stands at the edge of a flooded field, very still, one leg raised slightly, its long gray neck curved in that particular heron shape, like a question mark held motionless, its eye bright and still. It is watching for something in the shallow water, watching without any particular urgency. The patience of a heron is enormous. It will stand there entirely still for as long as it takes. The bus passes, and the heron does not move. It does not even blink as far as you can see. Just that one bright eye, and that curved neck, and that absolute stillness. You watch it until it is past, and then just the road and the evening. The boy in the back of the bus has finally given in. You can see him when the bus curves to the right. He has slipped sideways in his seat, his head resting on the shoulder of the woman beside him. His mouth is open. His hands are loose in his lap, the paper bag fallen to the floor beside him. He is deeply asleep. His chest rises and falls slowly. His face is completely relaxed. All the weight of waking has gone from it and left it smooth and easy, the way children's faces look in sleep, as if sleep has returned them to something essential and uncomplicated. The woman beside him looks down at him for a moment. Something in her face is very gentle. She does not move. She sits perfectly still so as not to wake him. You feel the same impulse in yourself to be still, to let the boy sleep, and to let yourself drift towards something like sleep. The weight behind your eyes, not unpleasant, just heavy. The warmth of the seat, the warmth of the air, the low hum of the engine beneath everything. You do not close your eyes yet. There is still the evening to watch, still the hills and the light and the long, slow descent into the valley. But you let yourself lean just a little more against the window, just a little more. Another farmhouse appears. This one is set further back from the road, up a long, unpaved track. The track winds through an olive grove and disappears over a small rise before reaching the house, so you can only see the house itself for a moment, at an angle, partially obscured by trees. What you see is a yellow painted wall, a wooden pergola at the side with climbing roses covering it. The roses very full, very pink, a wash of pink across the weathered wood. A table beneath the pergola. Someone sitting at the table, a figure, small at this distance, bent over something, perhaps reading, perhaps writing. Just a person at a table under rose-covered pergola in the evening. The image is so simple and so particular and so beautiful that it stays with you as the bus moves past. That yellow wall, those pink roses, that bent figure at the table, evening light on all of it. Someone, somewhere, having exactly the kind of evening that is worth having. You wonder what they are reading or writing, or perhaps they are neither reading nor writing, but simply sitting as you are sitting, watching the light change, watching the roses move in the breeze. You do not know. You will never know. The image is enough. The yellow wall and the pink roses and the figure at the table in the long evening light. It is yours now. You can keep it. The olive trees on the right slope are older than the ones you have been passing. You can tell by the scale of the trunks. Some of them are enormous, the kind of scale that suggests not decades, but centuries. Trunks so wide that the hollow centers are visible in some of them, great dark openings worn by time, by water and wind, and the slow, patient work of the years, and yet they are alive, completely alive. Their branches spread wide, and their leaves shimmer in the low light, and their olives hang heavy on the smaller branches. Ancient and alive, something in you responds to that. The idea of a living thing that has been here for hundreds of years, that has seen the light change on these hills hundreds of thousands of times, that knows this valley in whatever way a tree knows a valley more deeply than any human being could. The old olive trees, standing in their rows, patient and enormous and alive. One tree very near the road has a hollow in its trunk large enough that a child could sit inside it. You see it clearly as the bus passes. The hollow is dark inside, cool-looking, moss-lined, a secret room inside a living tree, and above it, indifferent to it, the same small silver-green leaves as every other tree, the same shimmering in the breeze, the same olives. The hollow does not diminish it. The hollow is just part of what it is. What centuries make of things. What time leaves behind when it passes through a living thing. The road curves again, a long, sweeping curve to the left. The driver takes it in one smooth motion. The golden charm on the mirror swings out and returns. The bus straightens, and ahead, through the windscreen, you can see the valley more clearly now. The descent is nearly complete. The road is approaching the valley floor, where the gradients ease and the curves gentle, and the speed of everything, the light, the air, the road itself, seems to slow further still. There is an old stone trough at the roadside, long and low, the stone dark with age, and with the water that has run through it. It is fed by a pipe from somewhere in the hillside above, the pipe old iron, and the water trickles from it in a thin, clear line. The trough is for animals, has been for a very long time. The stone around the mouth of it is worn smooth and pale, where generations of animals have leaned over it to drink. The water overflows gently at one end and runs across the road in a thin, barely visible sheet before disappearing into the verge. You see all of this in the few seconds the bus takes to pass. The stone trough, the thin line of water from the iron pipe, the overflow crossing the road, something so old and so simple and so continuing. Water flowing, animals drinking, the road going on, just past the trough, a wall with old climbing plants growing over it. Not climbing roses this time. Something with smaller leaves, dark green and dense, covering the entire surface of the wall so thickly that the wall itself is invisible beneath. Just the green, the cascading dense green, with here and there the remnant of a small flower, already past. Just the brown, dried remnants of them. The wall must be several hundred years old, and the plant on it, perhaps, not quite as old, but old enough that no one could say when it was planted, or who planted it, or whether it was planted at all, or simply arrived of its own accord, and found the wall to its liking and stayed. That happens. Things arriving and finding what they need and staying. You have been on this bus for a long time, long enough that it feels like yours, long enough that the rhythm of it is inside you, long enough that the sounds and the motion and the smell of warm upholstery and the cool air from the window have become the texture of this particular hour, this particular evening. You are content here, completely content. There is no part of you that wants to be anywhere else or doing anything else. Just this, the bus, the road, the evening light on the Tuscan hills, and your breath slow and easy. In and out, the poplar trees return. Another line of them along another watercourse that runs parallel to the road for a stretch before curving away. Their pale trunks in the low light, their perpetually trembling leaves, that shimmer that never stops. You watch them for a while, the shimmer, the pale trunks, the sky above them deeper now, the blue nearly gone from the lower portion and replaced by that amber and rose. The poplars shimmer, the evening deepens, the bus descends. A church on a hillside, not the one in the town. A different one, older perhaps, out on its own, on a low rise above the valley. Just visible from the road, its roof line and the stub of a bell tower. No bell tower intact, just the lower portion, the rest long since fallen or taken for other use. The walls are very old stone, the darkest stone you have seen along this road, almost charcoal, covered in a skin of pale lichen, orange and gray and white. There are no windows, or the windows are dark, empty openings now, no glass. The church has not been used for a very long time, but it is still there, still standing, still holding its shape against the evening sky. Something about a ruined thing that has not entirely fallen. Something about the patience of stone, the way it endures without intending to, without effort. The church passes. The road continues. There is a smell of wood smoke now, very faint, carried from somewhere in the valley on the light air. Someone has lit a fire, not for warmth, not yet. The evenings are still warm enough, perhaps for cooking. A fire in a garden or in a farmhouse yard, a fire lit at the end of the working day for the pleasure of it, for the smell and the light, and the particular comfort of something burning slowly and steadily in the approaching evening. Wood smoke is one of those smells that goes straight past thinking and into something older and simpler, something that responds to fire the way it was made to respond, with warmth, with comfort, with the deep and wordless knowledge that someone has made something safe and warm nearby. You breathe it in, the wood smoke and the herbs and the dampness of the valley and the sweetness of the evening, all of it together. The smell of this particular place at this particular hour. The bus has reached the valley floor. The gradient is gone. The road is level, or nearly level, and the curves have widened. And the speed of the bus is the same, but it feels different on flat ground, more gentle, more floating. Fields on both sides now. Some have been harvested. The earth turned deep amber, furrowed, rich. The smell of it comes through the window, deep and dark and good. The smell of turned earth, the smell of something ready. Some fields are still growing, low-growing things you cannot identify from the road at this speed. Just the green of them, the even, well-tended green of something being cared for. A farm track crosses the road, just a rough, unpaved lane leading away through the fields to somewhere you cannot see. There is no one on it, just the track and the fields on either side, and a single lamp post at the crossing, though its light is not on yet. The bus crosses the track without stopping. The road goes on. There are fruit trees along the roadside here, not olives. Something with heavier, rounder leaves. Plum trees, perhaps, or apple, their branches trained flat against a low wire trellis that runs along the verge. The fruit is small and dark, almost done for the season. You look at them closely as the bus passes. The dark fruit, the trained branches, spread flat like hands. Someone tended these trees carefully. Someone measured the wire and set the posts and pruned the branches and trained them along the trellis season after season. Someone cares for this road the way you care for something that has been in your keeping for a long time. That patient care, that quiet maintenance of beautiful things. There is a deep comfort in evidence of that kind of care, in things that have been tended, in places that have been looked after, in the long accumulation of patient small acts that makes a landscape both cultivated and beautiful. This road, these fields, this valley, all of it the result of countless people over countless years making small decisions about how to live here, how to farm here, where to plant a tree, and how to tend it. And all of that human care woven into the landscape so completely that it no longer looks tended. It looks natural. It looks like it simply is this way, has always been this way. But it is the result of care, and that care is still here, in the walls and the trees and the rows and the paths. It is present in the air you breathe, and there is something very reassuring about that. Something that says people were here, and they were careful, and they made something worth being in. You are in it now. This valley, this evening, made by careful people over a very long time, and you are resting in it. A family is in a garden on the right, behind a low stone wall, a garden with a wooden table and several mismatched chairs. A woman is carrying things from the house. A man sits already, leaning back, his face tipped toward the last of the light. Two children run in the grass at the far end of the garden, loosely, without particular direction, just moving because the evening is warm and movement feels good. A dog lies under the table. A jug of something is already on the table. You see it for only a few seconds as the bus passes, and then the wall curves away and the family is gone. But they remain in you for a moment. The warmth of that garden, the woman carrying things from the house, the man with his face tipped to the light, the children running in the grass, the ordinary, unrepeatable beauty of an ordinary evening. The poplar trees come and go. Another line of them along another watercourse, their pale trunks luminous in the low light, their leaves in constant, gentle motion. You pass them slowly, and they go by one, each trunk a pale stroke against the amber sky behind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one very straight, very tall, very still at the trunk, but trembling all the way to the top. There is a smell of wood smoke now, very faint, carried from somewhere in the valley on the light air. Someone has lit a fire, not for warmth, not yet. The evenings are still warm enough, perhaps for cooking, perhaps simply for the pleasure of it. The smell and the light and the particular comfort of something burning slowly in the approaching evening. Wood smoke is one of those smells that goes straight past thinking and into something older and simpler. Something that responds with warmth, with comfort, with the deep and wordless knowledge that someone has made something safe and warm nearby. You breathe it in. The wood smoke and the herbs and the dampness of the valley and the sweetness of the evening. All of it together, the smell of this particular place at this particular hour. The evening is at its most golden now. You did not think it could deepen further, but it has. The light has become almost orange, a deep, warm orange that turns every surface it touches into something extraordinary. The turned earth of the fields glows. The pale stone of a distant farmhouse glows. The road itself seems to glow. Even the inside of the bus has changed color. The worn green seats have turned amber. The pale ceiling has turned gold. Your hands, resting in your lap, are warm-toned in this light. Everything in the world right now is the color of warmth. The town is close now. You can smell it almost. The old stone and the wood smoke and the bread from earlier in the day. The road passes a modern water tower, pale blue, sitting on its thin legs in a field. A very recent thing beside everything else that is old here. But even it, in this light, catches the gold and softens, and then the water tower is passed, and there are the first buildings, the outermost houses of the town, low and simple, with walled gardens and terracotta pots, and the occasional car parked outside. The town receives you at its edges first, quietly, without fuss, just the road widening slightly and the houses beginning, and the olive groves giving way to garden walls and gates. A very old woman sits on a chair outside her front door. Her hands are folded in her lap. Her eyes are open, but she is not looking at anything in particular. She is just sitting in the last warmth of the day, in the last light, in the last bit of the day's warmth before she goes inside. She has sat here many evenings. You can tell by the way she sits, the ease of it, the absolute lack of self-consciousness. The chair positioned perfectly in the exact angle of the wall that catches the most evening light. She has figured all of this out long ago. The bus passes, and she does not look up. She is in her own world, her own quiet world, and the bus is just the bus, as it has always been. The road narrows between the first close-pressed buildings. The town is closing around you now, not threateningly, just the way a place closes around you when it knows you have arrived, when you have gone from passing through to being here. The walls are close on both sides. The sounds change. The engine echoes differently. There is a closeness, an enclosure, after all the open hillside, but it is a warm enclosure. The warmth of old stone, of inhabited places, of walls that have sheltered people for a very long time. You feel it as a kind of welcome. The road turns once, and then again, and then there is the archway, low stone, round-topped, worn at the edges by the years. The road passes beneath it, and for 2 or 3 seconds you are in the archway, and the sound of the engine fills the stone space completely, and the light dims to a cool shadow, and then you are through, and the piazza opens before you. The town is closer now. You can see it quite clearly through the windscreen, over the heads of the driver and the old man in the front seat. The church tower is clearly visible now. Pale stone square with a clock face set into it near the top. You can see the hands of the clock, though not the numbers from this distance. The rooftops cluster together. The terracotta tiles warm and deeply orange in the evening light. The houses press against each other in the way of old Italian hill towns, without gaps, without spaces between them, each one sharing a wall with its neighbors, as if they have grown together over centuries and are now inseparable. Below the roofline, the walls of the houses are in shadow. Only the tops catch the light. There is a cypress standing very tall at the edge of the town, dark and narrow, pointing straight at the sky, completely still. The road wins the last little distance between some small fields, and then there are buildings on both sides, and the bus slows, and the town receives you. The speed of the bus drops to almost nothing. The streets here are narrow, barely wider than the bus itself. On both sides, The walls of the houses press close, their stone surfaces near enough that you could reach out the window and touch them. You do not, but you could. The stone here is not the pale golden stone of the fields. It is slightly darker, slightly cooler. The walls of the houses are thick and smooth at the ground floor, where they have been plastered and painted, and rough and ancient above, where the stone shows. Shutters, mostly closed. A few open, their slats casting striped shadows on the walls across the narrow street. A door painted dark green, with a brass handle worn bright with use. A window with a box of geraniums below it, the geraniums red and full, their leaves dark green, all of it vivid and precise against the pale wall. A cat sitting on a windowsill on the second floor, looking down at the street with complete serenity. It watches the bus pass without moving, without changing its expression. It has seen buses before. It will see more. The bus navigates a very tight curve. You hear the sound of the engine change, working slightly harder for a moment. The bus swings wide and then tucks into the curve and straightens. The driver makes this look easy, but you suspect it requires a very precise knowledge of exactly how much space this bus takes up in exactly this corner. And then the street opens and you are in the piazza. The engine slows to idle, and then the driver turns the key and the engine stops. The silence is remarkable. Not true silence. Never true silence. But after the constant sound of the engine, after all those miles of road noise and vibration, the stopping is profound. You hear the town, the fountain first. Of course, the fountain, the sound of it is everywhere in the piazza, filling the space, constant and soft. Water falling from its spout into the basin below, a sound that has been here long before the bus and will be here long after. A sound that belongs to this piazza, the way light belongs to afternoon. The cooing of pigeons, low and round, somewhere in the archways or along the rooftops. A sound like a small stone dropped into still water, spreading slowly in rings. Somewhere music, very faint. Someone's window open on an upper floor, and from it the sounds of a melody played on something, a piano or a radio, something simple and slow, hardly there, more felt than heard, and then a chair scraping on stone somewhere, and the sound of glasses. The cafe. You look across the piazza. The cafe occupies one side of the square. It is a small place with a painted sign above the door in a deep ochre yellow. Its outdoor tables are mostly empty, just 2 or 3 occupied. Candles in glasses on the tables, already lit, though it is not quite dark enough to need them. The light inside the cafe spills warm through the glass door, making the interior look very amber, very inviting. An elderly man sits alone at one of the outdoor tables. He has a small cup in front of him. He is not looking at anything in particular. He is simply sitting, his hands folded on the table in front of him, his face calm, his eyes moving slowly over the piazza and the fountain with the ease of someone who has sat in this exact spot for many years and who intends to sit here for many more. The other passengers begin to gather their things. The woman in the blue cardigan wakes from her sleep. It happens slowly, the way waking happens when the body does it on its own terms. She blinks. She straightens. She reaches up with one hand and smooths her hair, then picks up her canvas bag from beside her and holds it in her lap for a moment, looking out the window as if confirming where she is. And then she nods very slightly, as if satisfied, and stands. She moves down the aisle carefully, her bag in both hands. She pauses at the top of the steps and looks out at the piazza for a moment, and something in her face softens further, some last remnant of effort releasing. And then she steps down and out and is gone. The old man rises with his canvas bag, leaning on the back of the seat in front as he gets to his feet. He takes a moment to settle himself, to adjust his bag in his arms, and then he walks down the aisle with the measured tread of someone who is comfortable in his own pace. The boy is being woken gently by a woman who must be his grandmother or an aunt, someone patient and familiar who knows exactly how to bring a child back from deep sleep without causing upset. She speaks to him very quietly, her hand on his shoulder. He comes awake slowly, his eyes open, and he looks around with that particular expression of confusion that children have in the moments after sleep, that brief disorientation. And then he recognizes where he is, and he reaches down and picks up his paper bag, still half full, and allows himself to be guided down the aisle and out of the bus. The bus is empty now. Just you. You sit for a moment in the stillness, the piazza beyond the window, the fountain, the cafe, the evening sky above the roof lines. There is no hurry. There is no one waiting. You are here, and the evening is here, and you can simply sit for a moment longer in this comfortable old seat, in this old bus, in this small piazza at the end of a long, slow, beautiful journey through the hills. You breathe in, you breathe out, and then you gather yourself slowly and stand and move down the aisle and step down the stairs and out into the evening air of the piazza. The stone beneath your feet is warm. You feel it through your shoes, that warmth. The warmth of a day's worth of sun absorbed into old stone and held there, given back now at the end of the day. It will hold that warmth for hours yet, into the night, slowly releasing it. You stand in the piazza and look around. It is not a large space. From one side to the other, perhaps 30 or 40 paces. The fountain is at the center, the basin round and low, the water flowing steadily. On one side of the piazza, the cafe, warm with amber light and outdoor tables, and the old man sitting quietly with his cup. Candles in small glasses on each table, already lit. The light of them is very soft and very warm against the deepening sky. On the opposite side, a small shop. Its shutters are being folded closed as you watch. A man in a dark apron reaches up and hooks the first shutter across, and then the second. He glances at the piazza, at the fountain, at the sky. He nods to himself. The quiet satisfaction of a day done. And then he goes inside. The third side is the church. Low, pale stone steps leading up to a heavy wooden door. The church front rising above it, simple and old. A plain face of weathered stone with a small rose window near the top. Its glass dark from this side. The fourth side is the archway you entered through, the whole piazza enclosed, the whole piazza quiet, the whole piazza turning slowly from the gold of evening to the softer amber of near dark, the cafe candles coming into their own now as the sky dims. You walk toward the fountain. Each step on the old paving stones makes a soft, flat sound. Unhurried. Each step on the old paving stones makes a soft, flat sound. Unhurried. The pigeons move away from you without alarm as you approach. They do not fly. They simply walk, their heads bobbing in that unperturbed pigeon way, finding a different bit of paving. The fountain is made of pale stone that has turned slightly amber with age, and with the growth of very fine mosses in the cracks. The basin is perhaps a meter across, the water a few inches deep. At the center, a simple stone column with a plain spout, and from the spout, a thin, steady stream of water. The sound of it, up close, is different from how it sounded in the bus. Softer, rounder. You can hear the individual drops, or almost the way the stream breaks on the surface of the water below and sends small rings spreading outward, rings that cross and intersect and dissolve before they reach the edges. You stand and watch this for a moment. The rings spreading, dissolving, new rings spreading. Over and over, there is something profoundly restful about watching water. Something that requires nothing from you. Something that offers everything and asks for nothing. You trail your fingers through the water of the basin. It is cool, surprisingly cool. Spring water, perhaps, from deep in the hillside, holding the temperature of the earth it came from. You let your hand rest in it for a moment, the coolness spreading from your fingers through your hand and up through your wrist. A quiet, pleasant coolness. And then you lift your hand out and shake the drops off gently and stand there for a moment, looking at the piazza. The driver has come off the bus behind you. He stretches in a slow, unhurried way. He rolls his neck. He rolls his shoulders. And then he walks across the piazza to the cafe with that comfortable, loose-limbed walk of someone at the end of a working day who is going somewhere they want to go. He sits at the table near the old man. The woman from inside comes out and puts a cup in front of him before he has said anything. He nods to her with a brief, grateful smile. He and the old man sit in silence for a while, both looking out at the piazza with an expression of complete ease. They do not need to talk. They are just here. That is enough. The sky above the piazza has changed. The blue is still there, but it has deepened, moved toward a blue-gray that holds something of violet in it. The gold and rose of earlier have shifted, grown richer and deeper. The amber stripe near the horizon has turned to something almost red now, a deep, warm red, and above it, the rose is deeper too, and above that a faint lavender, and above that the deepening blue-gray. It is that hour when the sky seems to be doing the most extraordinary thing without anyone paying attention. You pay attention for a moment. The church tower dark against it, very still. The cypress tree beside it, darker still, its narrow shape pointing straight up. And one star, just one, the brightest, already there before any of the others. Perfectly still, perfectly clear, you begin to walk slowly across the piazza toward the narrow street on the far side. Your footsteps on the paving stones, the sound of the fountain behind you growing very slightly fainter as you walk away. The cool evening air on your face. The narrow street receives you. The buildings on both sides rise to 2 or 3 floors, their walls close, and the sky above becomes a narrow band. The paving here is slightly uneven, the stones rounded and worn, and you walk carefully, pleasantly. There is the smell of cooking, very clear here in the narrow street where it cannot escape. Garlic, certainly, that warm, sharp, sweet smell. Olive oil, something with herbs, something slow cooked and savory and deeply, simply good. From an open window above, the sound of a family at dinner. Not words, just the music of it. The sound of a table being lived at. Someone speaking. Someone laughing briefly and softly. The sound of a chair and then quiet conversation again. You do not understand the words. You do not need to. The sound of it is warm and familiar, in the way all families at dinner are familiar, whatever the language. You walk further along the narrow street. The buildings change slightly as you go. Older here, less plastered, the stone showing bare. A window sealed with a wooden board, no longer used. A door painted a red that has faded to a soft, dusty rose. A lamp mounted high on the wall, not yet lit, but it will be soon, when the last of the skylight is gone. Flower boxes on the windows. Geraniums, red, needing water, but managing. Basil in a pot on a windowsill, dark green and full. Someone is careful about their basil. The street makes a gentle turn. Everything in this town makes gentle turns. Nothing is straight for long. The streets follow the old logic of the place, the logic of where the houses were built and where the people walked between them. And that logic curves and meanders and doubles back and opens suddenly into small surprises. Like the little square that opens now on your right, you almost miss it. It is not announced. The street simply widens into it without ceremony, as if the buildings here stepped back a little to make room. A dog appears at the end of the street, not large, not small. An ordinary village dog of indeterminate breed, with short, tawny fur and an easy gait. It approaches without alarm, stops at a comfortable distance, and looks at you with calm curiosity. Its tail moves once, twice, and then it decides you are of no great interest and turns and trots back the way it came, disappearing around a corner. You watch it go, its unhurried trot, its complete assurance about where it is going. The small square on your right, you step into it. There is a well, perhaps, or the memory of one, covered now with a flat stone that serves as the base for a large potted lemon tree. The tree is heavy with lemons. They glow in the last of the light, deeply yellow, almost luminous against the dark green of the leaves. The smell of them is just there, faint and clean and sharp, cutting through the warm evening air. Beside the lemon tree, a low stone wall, and behind it, a tiny garden. You can see it just over the wall. A few rows of something growing, tomato plants perhaps, staked and tied. And beside them, a rosemary bush grown enormous, well past the size where anyone would call it a bush, more like a small tree, its woody branches spreading wide, its gray-green leaves very fine. The smell of the rosemary reaches you, clear and resinous and strong. The smell of it in the warm evening air is one of the most purely pleasant things you know. You breathe it in. There is a stone bench against the wall on the far side of the square. You sit down. It is a very simple act, sitting down, but it carries a great deal with it. The decision to stop, the settling of the body, the weight of the day finding its way into the stone beneath you. The bench is warm from the sun. The stone wall behind you radiates a gentle warmth. You press your back against it and feel that warmth seep through. Above you, the sky is very clear now. There are more stars. Half a dozen, perhaps, the brighter ones, the ones that appear early. They are very still. You are not thinking about anything in particular. This is unusual, perhaps. Or perhaps it is not, for an evening like this, for a place like this. You are just here, on this bench, in this small square, with the lemon tree and the stars, and the smell of cooking from somewhere, and the faint, faint sound of the fountain in the main piazza, carried to you on the still evening air. Your hands lie in your lap, loose. Your shoulders are low. Your breathing is slow. The day is very far away now. All its details and demands and small tensions far away. Already beginning to seem less solid, less important, the way things do when you have moved far enough from them. You think of the bus, the way it moved through those hills, slow and steady. The way the olive trees passed, one by one, their silver-green leaves shimmering in the evening light. The stone walls and the dry grasses and the cypress trees standing so still against the golden sky. The woman in the blue cardigan, asleep against the window. The boy eating slowly from his paper bag with heavy, dreaming eyes. The golden charm on the rearview mirror, swaying left and right with each curve of the road. These images come to you softly, one by one, already taking on the quality of things seen in a dream. Already a little distant, a little soft around the edges. This is what evenings do with days. They take them in and soften them. They convert the sharp and the specific into something warmer and more general. The feeling of it remaining even as the details begin to blur. You let them blur. You let the images drift and soften. You let the evening do its work. There is a large old tree in the corner of the square. You did not notice it at first. It is so still, so much a part of this place. But now you see it. A very old tree, its trunk enormous, wider than you could reach around, its bark deeply ridged and dark, its branches spreading out above the square in a great canopy. The last of the light falls through the branches. It comes through in small moving pieces, filtering through the leaves, catching them from below. Each leaf lit briefly as the faintest air moves them, and then dimming, and then lit again. The branches themselves are very still, just the leaves trembling slightly. just the light moving through. You look up at the tree for a long time. There is something about looking up into a large old tree in the evening, something about the way the branches divide the sky into pieces, the way the leaves catch and hold and release the light, the way the whole structure of it, from the great roots you cannot see to the finest twigs at the top, is so completely itself, so fully what it is, without effort, without intention, simply existing and growing and breathing and being. It has been here a very long time, this tree. It will be here long after this evening. It asks nothing and receives everything. The light, the rain, the warmth of the stone square in summer, the cold of winter, all of it taken in, all of it metabolized into this vast, quiet existence. You feel something in the presence of it, not awe exactly. Something quieter than awe, something more like recognition or kinship. The sense that you two are made of the same things, the light and the warmth and the air, that you two are simply here, simply existing, simply breathing in and breathing out. Your breath is slower now, very slow, barely there. In over a long, slow count. A pause, easy and natural. Out, long and soft. Another pause. In again. The sky above the tree is fully violet now. The last traces of gold have left it. Somewhere behind the roof lines to the west, the sun is still just above the horizon, still casting its deep evening light. But up here in the strip of sky above this small square, it has become a deep, soft violet blue. 3 stars are visible through the branches. 4, 5. You stop counting. Let them appear on their own, one by one, as your eyes adjust to the deepening of the light. The sounds of the town are settling. The voices from the dinner table above have grown quieter. Somewhere, a door closes. Softly. The kind of closure that means someone has gone in for the night and is not coming back out. The dog has not reappeared. The pigeons have settled somewhere to roost. The narrow streets are empty. You feel the evening on your skin. That particular feeling of evening air, cooler now, softer. The warmth of the day having passed, but the warmth of the stone around you still radiating gently. You are in between 2 temperatures, the cooling air and the warming stone, and the balance of them is perfect. Not too warm, not too cool, just right, just easy. Your eyelids are heavy, really heavy now. Not the heaviness of tiredness or of strain, the heaviness of rest. The heaviness that comes when the body has decided that it has done enough for today, seen enough, moved enough, felt enough, and is ready to be still. You let them close, just for a moment, and in the darkness behind your eyelids, the images come softly. The olive trees, the silver-green shimmer of them, the road winding through the hills, the golden light on the valley spread below, the lizard on the stone wall perfectly still, the cat on the farmhouse doorstep curled and warm, the child falling asleep in the back of the bus, the fountain rings spreading outward, dissolving, spreading again, the stars through the branches of the old tree. Let these images drift. Do not hold them. They do not need to be held. They are not going anywhere. They will be here tomorrow, soft and warm in your memory, waiting for you when you wake. For now, let them drift. Let them soften. Let them become part of the dark and quiet that is gathering around you. The stone bench beneath you, the warm wall at your back, the cool evening air on your face, the smell of the evening, the lemon tree, the old stone, the faint sweetness carried on the air from somewhere in the hills, the very faint, very distant sound of the fountain, constant and soft, still going, still flowing, still there. Let everything slow down now. You do not need to follow every word. You do not need to see every image. You can let the story wash over you the way the evening washes over this valley. Gently, without effort, filling everything and asking nothing. Just breathe. Just be here in the warm and the quiet, in the small square with the old tree and the lemon tree and the stone bench, in the small town at the bottom of the Tuscan hills, in the long, soft evening that is turning slowly into night. The stars are coming out properly now, one by one at first, the brightest ones, and then more and more, filling in the spaces between, until the strip of sky above the tree is scattered with them, more than you can count, more than you would try to count. They are very still, all that distance and still. Something about the stillness of stars is deeply restful. You look at them through the branches of the old tree, and you do not think about them particularly. You just see them. You just let them be there, faint and steady and very far away, keeping watch. The town is going to sleep, not all at once, gradually, window by window. Somewhere up the street, a light goes off in an upstairs room. And then, a few minutes later, another, the sound of a bolt being drawn on a door. The sound of someone walking slowly up a stair inside one of the houses, the floorboards creaking gently. The small sounds of the end of the day, all of it familiar, all of it human, all of it simply the town doing what towns do at the end of an evening, going still, going quiet, going dark. The cafe in the main piazza has turned its lights down, you imagine, not off entirely, but the warm amber of earlier perhaps reduced to something, just keeping the darkness at bay. The driver and the old man will have said their goodbyes and gone home. The woman in the blue cardigan will be home now. The old man with the canvas bag, the boy long asleep in a warm bed somewhere in this town or in a house up in the hills. You are the last one still out, and even you are barely out. You are barely here. You are on the edge of something, on the threshold between the evening and sleep, between the world and the warm dark of rest. The bench is warm beneath you. The wall is warm at your back. The tree is very still. The stars are out. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to see. There is only this, the warm stone and the cool air and the stars, and the quiet of the town and the sound of the fountain, very far away now, carried on the still night air. And your breath, in slow, out soft. Let your thoughts go completely now. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing that needs your attention tonight. Everything that matters is safe and well. The day is done. The journey is complete. You are here, and you are still, and you are warm, and everything is quiet. Let your body be heavy, really heavy. Let the bench hold all of that weight. Let the wall hold it. Let the ground beneath the paving stones hold it. You do not need to hold yourself up. You never need to, not at this hour. Not when there is stone beneath you and a wall at your back and the night all around you. Let go, all the way. Your hands lie still. Your feet are still. Your eyes are closed. Your breathing is so slow now that it barely moves you. There is a bell somewhere in the town. You hear it distantly. One stroke, deep and round and slow. The sound of it swells and then fades, slowly, as if the bell itself is in no hurry to let the sound go. And then it is gone, and the night is quiet, and you are nearly asleep. The Tuscan hills are out there in the dark. You cannot see them, but you know they are there, breathing in the dark. The olive trees in their silver gray rows, standing quiet in the moonlight. The cypress trees pointing at the stars. The stone walls, the dry grass, the vineyard in the dark, the grapes still slowly deepening. All of it continuing quietly in the dark. The valley, the road, the farmhouse with its orange light, perhaps extinguished now. The little chapel on the hillside, its bell dark and still. All of it breathing, all of it patient, all of it at rest. And you are part of it now, part of this evening, part of this quiet. Your breath is part of the breathing of the valley. Your stillness is part of the stillness of the hills. Let the night hold you. It knows how. It has been holding these hills and these towns and these people and these roads for a very long time. And it will hold you too, just as gently, just as steadily. All the way through, all the way to morning. Sleep now, gently, deeply, without effort, without resistance. The fountain flows. The stars are out. The old tree stands in its square, very still. The stone bench holds you. The night holds everything. And you are asleep. The hours pass quietly in the valley. The moon rises over the eastern hills, not quite full, a little more than half, and its light falls across the olive groves in pale sheets, turning the silver leaves to something even softer. The rows of trees cast shadows, thin and long, across the pale earth between them. The road is empty. No cars, no buses, no one, just the moonlight on the road, on the stone walls, on the pale dust at the roadside. The lizard on the stone wall is gone, gone to wherever lizards go in the night, deep in a crack in the stone perhaps, curled up very small in the dark and the warmth of the rock around it. The cat from the farmhouse doorstep is inside now, asleep on someone's feet or on a warm chair. The farmhouse windows are dark. The table and 2 chairs outside are empty in the moonlight. Everything inside that house is still. The table cleared, the pots washed, the herbs drying above the door. The bus is parked at the edge of the town. The driver has gone home. The engine is cold now, or nearly. The worn green seats are empty in the dark. The golden charm hangs still on the rearview mirror, not swinging, not swaying, just hanging, still, the road waiting for tomorrow. In the piazza, the fountain flows. It does not know about night or day. It does not know about the bus or the passengers or the golden evening. It just flows, steadily, as it has flowed for 100 years or more. The sound of it in the empty piazza at night is the same as the sound of it in the afternoon. Constant, soft, uninterrupted. The rings spread across the basin and dissolve and spread again and dissolve. The stars are very bright above the valley now, no moon to dim them, or the moon still low, and the sky is clear and dark, and the stars are more than you could count in a night, more than you could name in a lifetime. Above the old tree in the small square, the stars fill the spaces between the branches, and you are there on the bench, or you are gone, or you are somewhere between here and sleep, somewhere on the long, warm road that leads away from waking and into the deep rest of the night. Wherever you are, it is warm and quiet. Wherever you are, it is safe. Let the valley hold you, the hills and the olive trees and the stone walls and the winding road and the small town and the fountain and the old tree and the stars. All of it is yours. All of it is here. All of it is patient and warm and still. Breathe in and out, very slowly, very softly, the way the night breathes, the way the hills breathe, the way everything breathes when it is at rest. Sleep all the way through. The night is long and warm and full of stars. And when the morning comes, the olive trees will shimmer in the early light, and the road will be waiting, and the bus will start again. But that is morning, and morning is a long way away. For now, there is only the night, the quiet, warm, patient Tuscan night, and you resting in it, deeply, completely, at peace. Good night, sleep well. All the way through, the valley breathes. In the dark, the hills hold their shape without effort. The olive groves are still. The vineyard is still. The road is still and empty and pale in the moonlight. The small town is asleep. Every window is dark. Every door is closed. Every bed is warm and occupied, and somewhere in the night, in a bed you cannot see, in a room above a square or a street, the boy from the bus is sleeping, deep asleep, his paper bag left on the table, his dreams unhurried, and the woman in the blue cardigan is sleeping, and the old man with the canvas bag, and the driver, his golden charm resting still beside the bus. All of them asleep, all of them carried by the night, the warm, steady, patient night. And you are the quietest of all of them. Your breath is a whisper now. Your body is perfectly still. You have released everything. The day, the journey, the evening, all the golden light and the silver leaves and the winding road, all of it given back to the night, all of it dissolved into the quiet. There is nothing left but rest. Pure, simple rest. The rest that is like a stone at the bottom of a clear stream, perfectly still, the water moving over it and around it without disturbing it at all. The rest that is like the valley in the dark, patient and still and breathing, simply there, simply itself. The rest that the night offers freely to anyone who will take it. You have taken it. You are in it. And there is nothing more to say, nothing more to hear, just the very faint, very far away sound of the fountain, still there, still flowing, soft and constant as breath, soft and constant as sleep. The moon has risen fully over the valley. It is just past full, just that 1 or 2 days past the complete circle. The edge of it very slightly softened on one side, not quite perfect, but close. Its light is cool and pale and even. The shadow of the old tree falls across the small square, a long dark shape, clearly the shape of a tree, stretching across the paving stones in the moonlight. The trunk, the spreading branches, the fine edges of the canopy, all of it reversed, all of it made dark and exact by the pale light. The lemon tree casts its own smaller shadow beside it, and the bench, your shadow on the bench would be there too if you were to look. The shape of a person resting, but you are not looking. Your eyes are closed. The moonlight falls on the olive groves, all those rows of old trees, their leaves turned silver in the night. From above, from the hillside, the whole grove would look like something silvered, something that breathes and shimmers in the faintest air, each leaf catching and releasing the moonlight the way it catches and releases the sunlight in the day. Silver now instead of gold, but shimmering still, breathing still. The vineyard in the dark is a different thing from the vineyard in the day. In the day, it is a precise, well-ordered place. Rows and wires and posts, and the careful cultivation of something valuable. In the moonlight, it becomes simpler, more abstract. Just the long, dark lines of the rows, the slight height of the trained vines, the flat, pale earth between. Something drawn in very simple marks, something almost geometric, and the grapes invisible in the dark, continuing their slow deepening toward harvest, patient and dark and full. The stone walls along the road hold the moonlight. Their pale surfaces, cream and amber by day, are white now, or nearly. The moss in the cracks is very dark by contrast. The lizard's stone is empty. All the small creatures of the day are tucked away, the lizard in its crack in the stone. The bees in their white wooden hives, warm and clustered in the dark. The cat from the farmhouse doorstep, indoors and curled and deeply asleep. The swallows, wherever swallows sleep, packed together in some sheltered eave, their swift wings folded. The heron, still and patient in the reeds at the edge of the flooded field. The donkey in its field, warm in the night air, its eyes fully closed now, its dreaming quiet. All of them in the dark, all of them at rest, all of them part of this night that covers the valley so gently. The road through the valley is empty and pale in the moonlight. It runs from the hills to the town without hurry, without purpose now that the day's traffic has passed. Just a road being a road, doing what roads do when no one is on them. Being still, being a path through the landscape, a human thing grown into the land, a line that says here, people went here, people passed here, the way through. The road is a kind of memory of all the journeys that have taken it, the hundreds of carts and horses and walkers and cyclists and cars and buses that have moved along it over the years. All that passing, all that motion, and now it rests. In the small town, all the streets are empty. The narrow one where the cooking smells were so strong is dark now. The windows above all dark. The families who sat at those tables now in their beds, or almost. The piazza empty. The cafe chairs tucked in. The candles out. just the fountain that does not care about night or day, that simply flows as it has flowed since it was made, since the stone was cut and the pipe was fitted, and the water first came through and fell into the basin. The sound of it fills the empty piazza, constant and soft. The rings spread and fade. The rings spread and fade. You are so far from waking now. The story has carried you a long way. The bus ride through the hills, that golden evening, is so far behind you that it already has the quality of something from long ago. The olive trees and the stone walls and the lizard and the sleeping woman and the boy with his paper bag. The piazza and the fountain and the cat on the stone rim, the narrow streets and the smell of garlic and the family at dinner. The small square and the lemon tree and the old tree and the bench. All of it behind you now. All of it held softly in the warm dark of sleep. You are simply breathing now. In and out, in and out. Each breath very slow. Each breath very quiet. The gap between each breath growing very slightly longer. That pause, that easy pause, where sleep lives. The night will carry you until morning. This is what nights do. They are patient, and they are warm, and they know how to hold sleeping things. The hills and the trees and the valley and the town and all the creatures in it, held by the night without effort, without drama. Just held, just kept, just allowed to rest. You are one of those sleeping things now, held by the night, kept in the dark, allowed to rest, all the way, all the long, quiet, warm way through to morning. And morning is not here yet. Morning is still hours away. The sky is still fully dark, or nearly, the stars still very bright, the moon still moving slowly across the hillsides. There is so much night left, so much quiet, so much rest. Take it all. You are welcome to all of it, every hour, every breath, every soft and patient moment of this long Tuscan night. The fountain flows, one ring, spreading, fading, another ring, spreading, fading. The water falls, the water runs. The water has always been running and will keep running through the night and through the morning and through tomorrow's golden evening and through all the evenings that come after. It does not need you to watch it. It does not need anything. It just flows, and you just breathe. In, out, in, out. So slow now, so easy, so deeply at rest. The old tree in the small square. Its branches are very still in the moonlight. The silver light falls through them and makes patterns on the paving stones below, shadows and light in those irregular shapes that only a tree can make. The tree is breathing in its own slow way at the pace of a tree, which is very slow indeed, taking in the night air, releasing it, drawing up whatever small moisture remains in the stone square after the long dry day, breathing, being patient and enormous and completely at ease. You are breathing alongside it, your pace much faster than the trees, even now, even in sleep. But both of you breathing, both of you alive, both of you in this square, in this night. Everything is well. There is nothing wrong anywhere in your world tonight. The day is done and it is behind you. The evening has been so beautiful. That golden road and those olive trees and the winding descent into the valley and the small town waiting at the bottom with its fountain and its warm stone and its quiet streets. You have been somewhere beautiful. You are somewhere peaceful. You will wake when morning comes, gently, the way one wakes after a long and restful sleep, without urgency, without alarm, just the slow return to the world. And the world will be there, warm and ordinary and manageable. And this story will be somewhere in you, the warmth of it, the smell of it, the golden light, and the silver leaves, and the sound of water. All of it still in you somewhere, like warmth held in old stone. But that is morning, and morning is not here. Right now there is only the night, the deep, soft, patient, starlit night, the valley breathing, the fountain flowing, the old tree standing still in its square, and you resting, completely resting, all the way down into the deepest and most restful dark. Good night. Sleep deeply. Sleep all the way through. The valley is watching over you. The stars are out. The night is warm, and everything is well. Everything is quiet. Everything is still, and you are resting, 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 all the way down into the deep and peaceful dark, into the long and gentle night.